galaxy is ancient and full of wonders. That's been the leading motto for Stellaris since its early days, even before its release 3 years ago. And with that in mind, I'm very happy to be able to talk to you today about Ancient Relics, the next story pack coming to Stellaris.
It's time to wrap up your campaigns, boys and girls, because on June 4th it's gonna happen. Stellaris Ancient Relics is gonna come out, and that is a timeline that is extremely short. That is Tuesday, the 4th of June. My god, that is... I don't think we've ever had a timeline that was this short when it comes to getting a new campaign underway. Maybe with Distant Stars, and this pack seems to be very similar in terms of its setup when it comes to its general motivation. It's definitely a story pack, very similar to what we saw with the Great Tempest from Distant Stars, etc. But overall, it looks pretty strong here. We got the Ancient Relics, we get the Dig Sites, we get new precursors, the Baal and the Zroni. They're coming up, Relic Worlds, and of course the artifacts, which I think are going to be some of the most interesting part of this particular expansion. They'll be available towards the patch users as well, which is rather exciting. However, as always, with any sort of update for Stellaris, we cannot, or at least myself, I cannot guarantee that your save file is going to be working as soon as the patch lands. So in this particular case, if you do want to continue past June 1st, you may want to make a backup of your Stellaris version so that you can continue playing where you have left off. If not, well, get ready to dive right into the new Relic system, the Dig Site system, because, well, all the mods are going to be updated. And it also looks like that a lot of the modders out there are already getting ready, like Ghoulie, for instance, is already getting ready for new sites to be added. He's going to keep quite a lot of his planet modifiers as they are, but yeah, he's rewriting all of his main survey events, which is quite a lot, to say the least. And expeditions are going to be still there with archaeology and dig sites and all that stuff. So yeah, my god, what a short time frame on this one. Yeah, for those of you that have done their exams now, I hope that you have the opportunity to take a little bit of time off, because this is going to be quite exciting. But overall, I think we're looking pretty good here. So for $10 and or local equivalent on your store of choice, Stellaris Ancient Relics is currently available for pre-order. Should you pre-order? I usually don't suggest that you should. Just wait for the reviews, but from what I can see so far, it looks pretty good.
Become the galaxy's most powerful empire by collecting all the ancient relics. Available on June 4th.
Now, this is, otherwise, this would be a very short video, so I want to touch on a couple other things while we are at it. Imperator, Rome, a game that has had mixed reviews, to say the least, especially on Steam. For some reason, the mainstream media is very much adoring this game, whereas the Steam reviews are extremely scathing. Is going to be gutted. Or at least it looks like there's plans in place for it to be completely gutted. The current mana system that is in place, or at least what the community at large is referring as the mana system, or monarch points as it's also referred to in EU4, is going to be removed completely. And we've seen stuff like this before in Stellaris with 2.2 Le Guin, where the entire tile system was ripped out and replaced with the job system, which personally I still think it is the superior system. Feel free to spew or hate in the comments about it. I will continue not really caring. But yeah, they're going to completely rebuild that system and replace it with something that has to do with political power, where the people in your government actually define how strong your empire is based on the amount of power that you have available within your government. And that right there is a huge step, and it's good to see that the devs are saying, look, we don't necessarily agree, but we do think that there is room for improvement here. Therefore, we're going to remove a chunk of the game and replace it with something else. That's something that I've always appreciated from the Stellaris team, as well as the team over at Paradox. They're always really open towards feedback, and that's excellent to hear. In addition, it also looks like there is going to be a new grand strategy game for Paradox being announced at PDXCon.
And I'm also told we're announcing some things.
We're what now?
No.
What, we're not supposed to say that?
No, you were not supposed to say that.
But we just did, you know? And they're coming out to see us, so we better bring something good.
And it's not Victoria 3, guys.
At the end of the year in Berlin, and it's not going to be a Victoria free apparently, but we'll see what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it may be time to start talking about Crusader Kings 3 or a fantasy grand strategy game. Leave the comments below. I'm really curious about what you guys have to say and what you guys have to think about when it comes to what new grand strategy game could be coming our way. What era, what type of theme could still be tapped into. Like, they have the Vampire the Masquerade IP, Crusader Kings style game based around that would be pretty excellent. But yeah, Victoria 3 is apparently still a ways away, unless of course they're gonna go like, psych, we tricked you. So yeah. And finally, in addition, there is another strategy game from Paradox going to be announced probably at E3 actually, and it's made by none other than John Romero and his wife. Now, John Romero, for those of you who don't know who that is, he's the person, together with his team over at Apogee and its software, responsible for making such classics as Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, Commander Keen, basically the games that somewhat molded my gaming experience in the mid-90s, and that right there is something that is really exciting to see. They've done a couple of teasers so far about what the game could be about. They posted a couple of pieces of sheet music on the various places. Now, I had a person on the Discord channel, Comrade Princess Leah, and she basically took one of these notes. It was a piece of sheet music, and she decided, you know what, I'm going to go and translate this to a piece of music, and it sounds a little bit like this. Now, ever since that came out, the final version of that sheet music has already been posted, and it sounds extremely similar. It's the one that you're hearing in the background right now, and it really is really curious. A person like John Romero, who is notorious for making several really gory games in the past, what could this be? Like a strange jazz-like game, like it almost sounds like a game from the mid-'80s almost, I would say. It's rather curious. I'm really looking forward to see what they've got. But then again, it's a PDX title. It's always a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to those. Then again, they've published such good titles like Surviving Mars, which you should be playing, by the way. Green Planet, which is the expansion that came out couple of weeks ago, is pretty good. It's a little bit of a slog every once in a while, but it is good fun. And of course, they published Pillars of Eternity, which is absolutely excellent if you like your Baldur's Gate style inspired storyline RPGs, which is something that really adds a lot of value. But yeah, it's quite a lot of news is coming out on the Paradox side, and especially with Stellaris Ancient Relics coming out in less than a week. It is going to be really, really interesting in the near future. I do recommend that, like I mentioned before, that you finish up your campaigns. start working towards getting ready for the new one and get ready to uncover the secrets of the Zroni and the Ba'ul, and get ready for the 2.3 patch with that delicious 64-bit optimization. Not that we know that it's gonna do any improvements on our end, but we shall see. Kind of interested on how long they've been sitting on this version of the patch in terms of QA and all that. We're gonna go and wrap this up here. I hope you enjoyed. There's a little bit of a different video this time around because I wanted to get a couple of additional things in. If you don't like this, feel free to also describe that in the comments below. I'm always looking forward to hear from you. And tomorrow, on Thursday 30th, maybe on Friday the 31st, we may have some patch review, maybe. Exciting. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and, as always, each other.